every year is not going to necessarily be a net positive.
No, it'd be nice if it was.
It would be nice if it was, but oftentimes when it rains, it pours.
When everything's going wrong, why are you going to like get bigger on your exposure and like bet more?
But that's the natural reaction to try to recover and cover the losses.
Exactly. It's the exact opposite.
That's how Vegas was built.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to the Cash Flow Bros podcast. Hopefully you're having a great day. What do we say if you're not? If you're not having a good day, cheer up.
Turn it around.
Yeah.
Get off your ass and just work harder.
Just grind. If you're not out there at yard sales picking up $3 Pokemon cards and flipping them on eBay, what are you doing?
What is that thing with Gary Vee where he goes to yard sales?
He loves it, man.
And he's like, this is how to make money
some old person selling their kids cars, and he's like, yeah, I swindled them. I'm like, dude, there's 55-year-old with their kids' old Pokemon cards. Like,
and he's like, there's value everywhere. I think the idea is that basically you can make money lots of different ways, right?
Which is true. I mean, he makes money.
People.
When times are hard, I mean, you can do that.
If I have to, I don't want to be up at 6 a.m.
There's people that go to like Walmarts and do that, right? They'll look for the clearance areas and scan a bunch of stuff and sell it on Amazon.
There was a lady at our meetup that has been doing that for years.
She's been doing good?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, she's been doing it for a while.
I don't know if she's at our meetup.
Yeah. Well, she's getting into real estate.
Yeah.
It's not as good as real estate is. But
she's turning her Walmart
is that
money
supposed to be moving?
Into that. Yeah, it is.
The timer?
Oh, I don't think it's going to.
So it's just frozen there.
We're just flying by the seat of our pants today, Jordan.
Cool feature. That's pretty cool.
All right.
Sorry.
We have another timer. We're good. Okay, so all that to say is the Birmingham Market. We just did Birmingham Market update recently. Have some great guests and all that, but we kind of want to talk about just generally what's happening in the market, a little bit of shifts and stuff. You were talking about a new development that's happening kind of close to your old neighborhood, right?
Yeah, right next to Rob's neighborhood. Actually, you pass right by it. I don't know the exact numbers on it, and I don't know the exact timeline, but I know it's happening pretty soon. They're already building back there inside of Black Ridge with newer homes. Not quite the $2 million ones that are at the front of the development, but not starter homes, and they're already building those. That's happening. But on the roadmap, from what I understand, is it's going to go through Black Ridge up to Morgan Road to connect into Lena. Something like 700-something homes, from what I understand.
Nice.
And they're going to have to drive through the Black Ridge neighborhood to get through there, to get out for right now until they connect them.
Which I guess you're relying on the city to do that.
I think part of the development agreement was that they were going to connect the road.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's going to come right out of the neighborhood. So it makes sense that they connected. I'm sure they got to get permits and stuff. But
so when you buy, you've done new construction for buyers before?
I have. Yep.
So what is that additional process? Because it's different than buying a house that's already existing from an inspection standpoint. From process, like walk us through kind of the.
I feel like when we started out, it's, hey, we're starting this house. Now, mine is different because it was investors, so it was just a spec home. We didn't go through any of the processes of picking out.
They didn't want
paint
porcelain
color and
scenes.
They didn't want anything super fancy. It was, hey, I want a new construction home, and I want what y'all are going to build for X price. And they were willing to go under the price that they had it listed at, actually, which was interesting because they hadn't even finished the home. But we went through, got under contract, picked the lot that we wanted. And they just said, hey, here's our list of everything we're doing. And they just give you a big old list of paint, sinks, dish, all that stuff. And they had already started the framework on it and had the framing up. And it took them, honestly, like maybe 2.5 weeks, maybe 3 weeks from sticks up to having everything done.
So you kind of caught it mid.
It was the sticks were up and it had the roof on it.
Yeah.
So all of the exterior stuff was done. Like it had exterior siding.
Oh yeah.
But it's about 2.5 weeks. Maybe it was 3 weeks.
That's fast.
Just drywall, carpet. Yeah. I mean, it's basic stuff.
But did you catch it? Because there's kind of like a mid inspection point when you can basically go in and double check the floor plan and as a someone buying the house.
for their home. No, I didn't catch it.
Okay.
At that point.
But there is that part of that process.
Yeah, I did not get to do that.
Yeah.
I did get to come in for our client and put, blue tape everywhere of
Where
fix this and you missed this and
Yeah.
all that.
Well,
But I
when
would
you do something in 3 weeks, there's going to be some mistakes.
there's going to be. I mean, they sling them up so fast. It's almost make your head spin.
Wow.
It's crazy.
I think there was one electrician I knew that's all they did was panels.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even wire to the panel. They would just go in. That's all they wanted to do too. They just loved the system of it, and they liked doing it clean. I mean, all the wires were there, and they were just a master electrician, and they just put a panel in and go to the next house, do the panel, make it look all pretty.
Yeah, it's
Just do panels all day.
It's crazy. Probably get paid pretty
nothing
good.
like a well-labeled panel.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. I
Walk
mean,
in.
if you're older, you're a master electrician, and you don't want to be crawling around and pulling wire.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's pretty good.
Pretty
gig.
solid setup. I would concur.
Yeah.
So that's my plan B.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Get master's electrician's license.
Yeah,
You only have to do that for 20
no
years.
problem.
and then eventually do panels. But anyway, so that's interesting. So there's still new builds. We did the Birmingham Market update, and listings are still down. And I kind of wonder if new builds will be a little bit of a way that relieves this low inventory. Kind of one of the only ways that does.
Well, the last month, the home builder confidence just fell below 50, which is kind of the dividing line between like positive and negative
Yeah.
as far as the home builder confidence. So it fell from right above 50 to like 45.
Oh,
So, and I think it's only the second month this year where it's been negative, and they're just looking at rates.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's
Rates
hard
are-
to carry that loan.
Yeah, and they look at the number of new buyers who walk in their model home, fill out a form, potential leads for them.
Yeah.
They track all that. They track all those kind of things, and I guess across the board are seeing just not feeling as good about their prospects. I think in this, they actually divide that report up across regions, and the Southeast is, I think, the strongest still as far as how people feel about building. But
Yeah.
it tells you something if your confidence is always hovering around 50% in an industry. It's like never 100%. It's like, we're about 60 this month.
Yeah.
Our confidence is 60%.
Yeah.
You're like, that's pretty good confidence.
Yeah. I like it. That is one of the only ways to really alleviate the inventory problem moving forward. But problem is those builders don't want to carry all that debt.
Oh yeah.
There's an opportunity of losing it, and it could go sideways, and then you're stuck with all that debt.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of risk, but new inventory, like literally brand new inventory, may be one of the only things that relieves the pressure because people are still choosing not to leave their current homes and situations for a very good reason, because you can't rebuy. If you're trying to move, it's really hard to rebuy.
You can't even buy the same home you have.
No, not for the same buying dollar. I saw some friends actually. They recently like sold and moved, and I just thought about like their life situation must have been like so pressurized in that current. It was their first home. I think they bought it even before they had kids. Now they have like 2 kids.
Oh yeah.
So there must have been so many different circumstances that made it to where they had to move. Honestly,
Yeah.
that they would pick up and grab a 7% interest rate.
Yeah.
So
To
anyway,
go from like a 2 3/4 to 7+.
yeah,
It's killer.
I
Yeah.
heard a 1.9 the other day.
Wow.
Someone had got a 1.9.
impressive.
I was
Yeah.
like, I didn't even heard of that. That was
Golly.
insane. So,
Yeah.
Any other news happening in the Birmingham market?
Let's see. Around Birmingham, let's see. I can't think of anything around here. There's a lot of national news.
Yeah,
A lot of things with happening in real estate in general. The Redfin leaving NAR.
Yeah, we could talk about that for an hour.
What else there was a couple
there's a couple
things.
change up on rules of percentages of loans and stuff, but I don't know how much that necessarily affects our local, but
The 5% down
Saw that.
on multifamily, small multifamily properties is a new.
So I thought the way I read it, they've always done FHA with when you live there, like
Yeah.
house hack it
Right.
up to 4
Yeah.
units. So what I read was that now you can buy an investment property without living in it for FHA.
Well, it's conventional.
Oh, it's conventional,
Yeah.
but
it's
5%.
a 5% down.
It's
not
backed by
20%.
Fannie and Freddie though.
Yeah, it
that's
is.
what it is. I don't know
Yeah.
why I thought FHA.
So this is a totally new product,
Well, they just changed the requirements. It used to be like 20 or 25.
Mm-hmm.
and they just made it 5%.
Yeah.
That's mind blowing.
It's a big difference.
Yeah.
That is significant.
I probably should have read a little more into that article. I did not.
Yeah.
We need a deep dive.
I didn't read the full article either.
We need a deep dive in this and bring it
'Cause it
next
was-
episode.
I would
'cause
love to
that's
pull it
huge.
up on my phone, but we can't.
Because it is really big for
huge.
yeah.
for the little guys,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
the
definitely.
investors.
All right, so homework. Next episode, learn more about this 5% because that is actually very pertinent to our viewership.
Oh yeah.
See, I thought it was FHA, and that's why I was confused. But it's conventional. That's
FHA is still the same.
what I thought. I was like, I can't believe they changed it like that.
But all that to say, interesting enough, I have a listing currently where a conventional loan came back with. Now this home is not in the best of conditions. It was previously rented. Renters moved out. The seller that I'm selling it for just doesn't want to fix it up, so they're selling as is. So there's some issues with it, but overall, like it's not. I don't think it's horrible, and I didn't think a lender would push back on it. But they gave me 6 items, which for a conventional loan, and I've only had that happen a handful of times.
Yeah.
Typically, FHA is the one who, they have parameters and they give you like, here's a laundry list. And even FHA doesn't usually give me too many items, if not at all. Like I've had houses just pass free and clear on FHA loans. But for a conventional appraiser to give me 6 items, and they're pretty significant, and I was very surprised.
What were they?
See
Like structural or
one was they saw some. I don't know how much I can disclose, honestly, from a client standpoint.
Yeah,
now that I think about it, but
Yeah.
they all that to say is at the end of the day, there's only 2 that were like significant. I was like, I can see that. The other were like, these are minor cosmetic, literally like $500 jobs. I don't even know why you're pinging this as like an issue with the house.
Huh.
So anyway, we'll see what. I'm still working it out, still trying to figure out the deal. But I was just very surprised that they would come back with that. But what it speaks to me is the communication between the lender and appraisers now. I think that they're being more strict on these loans.
Yeah.
And
They
so
came
not
back
only are
online.
we having higher interest rates, but the loan criteria and just subjectiveness to those loans is getting stricter.
Yeah,
It came back on
they
yours?
pushed back on ours. They actually called the appraiser and asked them, "Why did you pick these properties?"
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And
Okay.
it wasn't just like a
Why did
why'd
you do your job?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And he because the ones that he picked at our size, there's not a lot of them at Bluff Park, so
Right.
we had to pull over to I think it was a little bit of Vestavia, like on that side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which does change, but the thing is the criteria is still the size of the house. I mean,
Yeah.
that's part of it.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot of them around you, so you got to go to the closest place.
That's
But they were
interesting.
they called him back, and he had to come back again to take pictures of the deck and something else in the house
Okay.
that they didn't ask for until
Hmm.
he wrote his report. And they were like, you need to go check that out again.
I would be curious to know the changes from an appraiser's standpoint
Yeah.
on what we're seeing in the market with like stricter lending criteria. We have right next door to the Cash Flow Bros studio, there's an appraiser office.
And we haven't
Say,
we
come
haven't,
on in.
we haven't burned that place down yet. I'm just kidding, everyone. I'm just joking.
Everybody's doing their job, right?
Yeah.
You're just
Yeah.
doing your job.
I'm just doing my job.
They're just doing theirs. No, it is interesting. I've had a few appraisers come back with repairs, and you're like, "Are you trying to blow up the deal?" I don't know. What
Sometimes they are.
But
It wasn't like that 2 years ago, though. It was.
But yeah, like I
just
said,
a
it goes back to, I think, the what's being communicated to them. They're getting stricter criteria, and so yeah, it's finding its way into all forms of the market and getting approved for loans and all that kind of stuff. So it's worth noting and worth understanding that. So
agreed.
Oh yeah.
Let's do top three. I don't
do
know
it.
if we'll keep on talking after this. We'll see, but top three, it just feels right. It
I
feels
like
right.
it. Yeah, vibing.
So, Rob, you had pitch it. What's our top three this week?
I forget what we talked about. We had it planned
Honestly,
out.
I was
We
like,
knew.
I forgot to.
Yeah, I forgot. You're the only one that remembers.
Did
you forget too?
No, I
we
didn't
all-
forget.
Okay.
I like the way you phrased it. So
Oh,
you just said
yeah.
that
I
the
forgot.
traits, the top traits
the-
of a client that is successful in this
so
market.
from years of working with investors specifically and seeing a lot of people doing it from out of state and locally, what is the top trait that you've seen that creates success investing here in Birmingham?
Yeah. So I would say a clear buy box or criteria really helps that person dial in what they're looking for, instead of just like, we've had clients say, "I just want a good deal," and it's like, well, that doesn't really help
Do you?
me. And so what that does, not only for us, is it helps us look for you. But on the flip side, it also, I think, helps narrow your focus, and what you'll never be an expert at everything, but you can be an expert at a few things. And so if you say, I'm going to buy houses between $100,000 and $150,000 that are 3.2s that need a little bit of work, not full rehabs, but just carpet and paint, then you become the expert at the 3.2. That's the ARV is 150 to 100,000.
Oh yeah.
Which we all agree is a pretty good sweet spot. Maybe a little higher is, but all that to say is
ARV a little higher.
Yeah, ARV.
Yeah.
We like stuff at the 150 up.
Yeah.
Tenant wise. But all that to say is, your criteria back and forth, and you become the expert, so that when a house pops up on market and everybody else thinks, oh, that's a little priced high, like, nope, that's a good price. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to move on it. And you lock it up because of the lack of everybody's decision. You make a decision quicker. If you're just looking for everything, you won't be an expert at everything.
Yeah.
So I think that has made the clients that I see that we work with the most successful is a clear goal and direction and buy box.
And that also helps whoever you're telling, like your agent, whoever you're telling, help me find good deals, whoever you want to help you, which could be an agent, it could be your insurance agent, it could be your lender, like,
Yeah.
help me find a deal. This is what I'm looking for. Now, when they're out there looking at properties, talking to people, like, the first thing they're going to think of when they see one that's 140,000, 3-bed, 2-bath that needs a little bit of work, you're going to say, like, oh yeah,
I know a guy.
Todd just told me a week ago, this
Yeah.
is exactly what he's looking for. But if you just say, Todd, go find me a good deal, then he's like, I look at houses all day long. Like,
Yeah.
how do I know what to send you?
Yeah.
Like,
If I hear the numbers just have to make sense one more time. Like, what numbers? It makes sense differently for everybody.
Yeah. And it goes down to sometimes it's not about the numbers, it's about the investment property that you like for a long-term hold.
yeah.
If that's the route you take.
Yep.
Don't you take mine.
So anyway, I'm just gonna keep going.
Top three.
List all of them.
I was gonna say which was what you were heading to, is the ones that I see that tend to do the best are people who understand that real estate is a time game, more so than a lot of other things. Because there's a lot of people that are trying to get rich quick off of some $60,000 property that they can appraise for 120, or something that's not realistic to find. That's a good long-term property. But if you're a client that's willing to stick into this thing for each house is different, but 5 to 10 years,
Yeah.
and you're okay with whatever that property is. Those are the people that I see do the best, and they don't sweat the small stuff when it comes to that. You got to replace the water heater, okay?
Yeah.
$750, whatever it is, like. But then you got it for the 10 years you're keeping this place, so
Yeah.
you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Cliff, who actually his birthday was yesterday, one of our clients.
Why?
Cliff.
He's one of the few people that are on my calendar that pop up as his birthday.
Hey man,
I saw it and I was like, why is he on my calendar as his birthday?
But I remember talking to him about his portfolio, and I kind of gained insight into his process, and just it kind of helped me. Was like, he was like, oh yeah, last year I was pretty much break even, but this year's been good, and it was just like, oh yeah, like every year is not going to necessarily be a net positive.
No, it'd be nice if it was.
It would be nice if it was, but oftentimes when it rains, it pours. And you can't look at your portfolio, that property, whatever your investment is, in a microscope in a year-to-year basis and say, well, this was a win and this was you have to look at the whole story of that property and say, this was an overall win. I netted X. And I think a lot of people, like to your point of time, they pull out of the investment at the wrong time because they have a few hard blows. And that was part of, honestly, with, going back to that Hueytown deal that we talked about a couple episodes back. If I had $150K sitting in the bank, I probably would have felt in a better position, honestly, to take on that big of a deal. But I think the lack of cash made me hesitant, in addition to some other factors of the deal. I'm not saying that completely would have said go or no go, but it was a big responsibility. And when you have back cash, time, it's going to be a win.
Yeah, in the long run.
Someone said that the beauty of real estate is it's extremely forgiving over time.
Yeah.
Over time.
I would agree with that.
And a side point, I know I'm saying a lot, but the market has trained buyers and sellers very poorly the last couple of years.
Yes, it has, for investments, really in general.
And I think it saved a few people who entered the market, at the beginning of COVID, exited the market mid or after, tail end of COVID, actually made money. And it taught them, and they acted like it was like the stock market.
Yeah. I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional.
Yeah, and
you just got lucky.
No, you probably would have lost money any other time, but you hit a sweet spot. Rob's like laughing.
There's a saying that goes, "Don't confuse brains with the bull market."
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I've got Wall Street sayings I've got 50 of them just lodged in my brain.
Did you have them on walls?
Sometimes it's luck, man. Sometimes it's luck.
Yeah. It's better to be lucky than good.
That's true. Any day. All right, what's yours?
I would say the thing that really I've seen clients that I would say this is our most successful clients. I'm talking about between, I've probably worked with 100 or so, just estimating, but probably the top 5, I would say, in terms of how they've progressed in their portfolios and in real estate, is the ability, you may look at it and call it fearlessness or courage or something like that, but I don't necessarily think it's that. I don't know if they even think it's that. It's not like risk tolerance. I think it's more that they're willing to move forward despite uncertainty. They may not know the entire full picture of how everything is going to play out, or what is in store in the future, what future costs are, but they do know big picture, buying real estate is going to be a win. And what do I need to do next to buy real estate? What's the first thing that I have to do?
Right.
And who can help me do that? and they do it, and then they very quickly go right into, all right, what's the next thing I have to do?
To buy more.
And who can help me do that? Who do I have to call to do that? I mean, this happens for them. I see it like very quickly within, this is just for like the first deal, but you see like there's just a willingness to like check one box. All right, what's the next thing? And it's not knowing 10 boxes down, it may not even be filled out yet.
Right.
But they do know like, all right, I can do this. And this is definitely the next right thing for me to do. And it ends up in buying one good property and then another. And, you know, that's that process and willingness to move forward without seeing the whole picture. I think that's what stops a lot of people in their tracks, is that they feel like, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? They talk about like analysis paralysis.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think it's just, you can't control whether or not that happens. It's probably going to. It's happened to other people before. They've been fine. Like,
Yeah.
But I know today I've got to call this lender and I've got to fill out a pre-application. I've got to fill out an application for a loan.
Like, I got to find money.
Yeah. Like, other than that, like, I can't control if 2 years from now my tenant quits paying. Like,
we were talking earlier offline about it, in some of these, you know, Open Door, Zillow, buying up a bunch of stuff, doing real estate on a spreadsheet, and just how agents are so relevant, because the process of buying a home is a very emotional decision. And I would say the same is true for the process of investing. Is still a very emotional decision, and having your emotions in check, and that fearlessness, that courage, that pushing into the unknown, because there is truly no way a spreadsheet is going to tell you that your water heater is going to bust the month after you buy the property.
Yeah.
And you're out $1,000. There's no spreadsheet that's going to tell you that information. There's no inspector that can tell you that information completely.
yeah.
And so realizing that you're pushing into the unknown, and rather than worrying about the water heater, more being equipped with the skill set to adequately weather the tough decisions, the hard things that come your way, is more important.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's really, I would say a bigger part of investing than almost anyone gives credit. Like, a lot of people say they like investing or they like commercial real estate because it's all logical and it's, you know, more not emotional like residential. And in my experience, that's completely false. Like, maybe it's a little more logical. Like, you can put everything in a spreadsheet and that has some relevance, but it's far from being pure logic, even in commercial and investing.
Yeah.
And residential is like, there's a little bit of logic. I mean,
I don't know.
There's maybe more than people give it credit for,
Yeah.
because it's just different logic.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily dollars and spreadsheets. It's different logic.
Yeah.
Around like, when I stand at the sink, can I see my kids playing on the swing set out the window on a flat backyard? Like, that's a logical thing to
important.
want.
People think about it when they walk through houses.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you know, taking it back to investing, it's just there's inherent things that you have to listen to your gut on some of the stuff and push forward or not push forward or whatever. But keeping those emotions in check is key. And I know we've had lots of conversations, Rob, where I've called you and I'm like, man, this just happened, and golly, and you're like, it's gonna be all right, and you coach me through it, and you know, my emotions were in check. You know, it's hard to, and I'm like, I'm gonna need a day. I think you remember telling me, you were like, if it's only a day, then you're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can reset after a day, but
that's great.
But
and I highly recommend taking that day.
Yeah, to realize, like, I mean, when that tree fell and I was out like $6,000, I got a call from from the property manager, like, hey, tree fell at one of your properties. And I'm like, I know the property, and that's a big tree.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a $6,000 check. Just boom, in one phone call, just $6,000 right in a big old check. And that was tough to swallow.
Yeah.
And it took me a day to kind of recover from that and the frustration of that and different stuff. But, at the end of the day, moved on. I'm still alive. So
this is
Sure.
There's a reason that I recommend that, like taking a day, and it comes from when I was trading, that there's times, and I've just noticed that what happened in trading seems to happen in life too. There's like runs of either good luck or bad luck.
yeah.
Where, and maybe it's luck, however you think about it, but there's runs where things are going your way. Everything is, all the chips are falling your way. Like it's your kind of day. But there's runs where everything that could go wrong is going wrong. And in trading, what you do when that starts happening is you shrink your exposure, your size. You don't want to make a lot of bets and bet most of your available money
Right.
when everything's going wrong. Why are you going to like get bigger on your exposure and like bet more?
But that's the natural reaction, to try to recover and cover the losses.
Exactly. It's the exact opposite.
That's how Vegas was
Which
built.
is yeah, exactly. And so, but when you have a run that everything is going your way, I mean, I tend to, when I feel like everything's going my way, I tend to really try to get even more going and like
double down,
press the envelope, work as hard as I can that day, try to get in extra hours if I can, like, because I feel like everything happening the right way. Like, I feel the odds are in my favor, but there's days like when a tree falls on a house and then it's guaranteed like something else is going to go wrong. I'll like pretty much shut it down. Like I'm not going to call anybody. I'm not going to really try to do much.
It's a good decision.
Definitely not going to like try to make any new deals. Like I'm just going to kind of ride this out. Sometimes I'll just take the rest of the day off, an afternoon, because I'm just like, this is not my day.
Yeah.
I'm not going to like try to make it my day. It's just not it.
Even from a personal level, it's like, be careful about the conversations you have with your wife. Because you're on edge and you're feeling that loss.
Oh, yeah,
it's
true.
like,
I've ran into that multiple times. That's true. There.
he's like, you speak wisdom, but I do not listen.
I don't listen. I'm gonna do it anyways.
Yeah, you don't want to make decisions. You don't want to have important conversations. You want to like do nothing literally until you.
Yeah, go play a round of golf.
Yeah,
Jordan, that is your expertise.
Yeah,
I wish. I haven't played in forever. I need to.
So, well, we branched a little bit, which I think was great. A little bit out of specifics to the Birmingham market and a little bit into the mindset of an investor. And hopefully it's helpful to you out there. A lot of our clients and a lot of our friends that we work with, they're, investors just like we are, single entities. They're not like big companies. And the emotional side, really recovering from losses, making sure you're making good decisions. I think it's actually crucial to being successful. So you just trumped our top three. That was the big one. No, it was good to end on that. So hopefully y'all got something out of that. Rob's wisdom. I appreciate all of our conversations because you are 2 or 3 steps ahead of me and Jordan in your investing career. And it allows us to glean from your previous mistakes, your previous successes. And so I always appreciate that too. So thanks for being on the podcast.
Hard road.
This week and
thanks
all
for joining
weeks.
our podcast. We appreciate it.
So hope you all have a good week.